Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having an amazing day. It is your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. And I do apologize about Wednesday. We had some technical difficulties, but we are here and I am excited to speak to you about this topic. Um, Hold on. So let's get started. So today I want to talk about endings, relationships, friendships, opportunities, jobs, anything that has an end. I want us to have a better understanding because as I continue to engage with people on social media and just everyday life, when things come to an end, people don't really know how to handle that. And the notion is always automatically, typically, a negative thing. And I want us to shift our mindset about this because all endings are not a negative thing, right? So I'm gonna just jump right into it. So the first thing is that some endings are fulfillment, meaning that whatever assignment that you have received. So again, jobs, relationships, friendships, means that it is fulfilled. Like you completed it. It's like you turned in your homework assignment and you have completed that task. And that is something that I think so many people fail to understand. That it is not going to be that, it doesn't mean that you failed at anything. It just means that the assignment has been completed. So when we have that understanding, we understand that, okay, it's time to move on to the next thing. And I've experienced that before when relationships were end. That helped me to shift my mindset about when relationships have ended in the past. So I think about the one time that I was with someone and well, we wasn't in a relationship. We were dating, we were getting to know each other. He calls it courting. I felt like he was kind of courting me, but we had I feel as though we I was his blessing. No, I was his lesson and he was my blessing. Right. We helped one another through a very tough season. And it wasn't a long time. I think it was probably about like 3 months that we were engaged in getting to know one another. When he and I both decided that we might want to take this to the next level, because he was really ready for marriage, so he really was on that I'm dating to marry, and so was I. We both decided to pray for 3 days and to fast for 3 days. And whatever answer we both heard, that was our answer to move forward. And at the end of the 3 days of our fast, we both heard no. The assignment was complete. And we were able to part ways without any animosity, any resentment. I actually ran into him last year at an event that I spoke at, and it was no ill feelings. It was a simple hello, and we just parted ways because that was it. The assignment was fulfilled. The things that he had to learn in the season of getting to know me, he learned. The things that I needed to learn and experience while getting to know him, I experienced that, and I was able to just walk away. And it wasn't a horrible feeling. It wasn't an angry feeling. It was a simple, okay, this assignment is completed. So if you're realizing that the ending is done, it could simply just be God saying it's fulfilled. It's time to move on to the next assignment. So we have to sometimes look at it just like we did in elementary through college, if that's where you went. Your homework assignment has been completed. So that's the first thing I want you. The second thing I want you to think about is that the same way the fulfillment has happened, God is trying to make room for what He's about to bring next. God is about to make room for what He's about to bring in next. He can't bring the next thing in if you're still holding on to the old season. If you are not letting go and understanding that you're blocking your true blessings. So when we're thinking about jobs, right? I'm one of those people since 2014 I have come to understand that God's way is not the way that society trains us, right? So society trains us, go get a job, keep a job, you stay there until you retire. That's not how God operates. Sometimes he needs you to move to the next room so that he can give you that next blessing. That relationship. That relationship is ending because your husband or your wife is going to come in the next season. You have to realize that sometimes he is trying to make the room for what he really desires for you to have. Holding on to the past is going to block you from your blessings. Holding on to and staying and choosing to stay stuck in that old is going to block the new blessings that you are praying for. Sometimes you have heard people say he doesn't have to enter that room. He doesn't have to. He can stand at that door and he can wait for you to either come out there or to release and let go of whatever it is that's there holding you back. And then he can come in and bring that blessing. So some of us are, the blessing is literally right there. It's in the threshold. It wants to come through. It's about to come through, but you're still holding on to that past. You're still thinking about it. You're still harboring over it. You are still, in your feelings about it. You're still reminiscing about it. You can't even prepare for what's coming next because that's where your mind is at. That's where your heart. And for some of us, you are physically still there. And you hear people say, like, I think Steve Harvey is one of those people that when he spoke, I think he said like years ago, he wanted a new car. He kept praying for a new car. He kept praying for a new car. And I think he said his mother told him, well, you need to take care of the old car. You need to clean it. You need to get it prepared so that it can be moved. I think it might have been a car that was not running. And it was like, you have to make space for that. So either you need to get rid of it, right? What's the point of holding on to it if it's not running? You're taking up space. A garage cannot have a car a new car to park there if the old car is still stuck there. And I get it. We want to see that next step first before we let go of the old. And that's why, I'm one of those people. I hate when I meet people who are, well, I'm in a relationship, but she's treating me bad, so I'm just trying to see what's out there. So you're out here scouting for the next and you still in the last. You got to make a choice. Because if you truly don't want to be in that last, let that last go. So that it can come to you with no attachments, with no situations, so that you can fully receive. If your hands are full, you're holding on to something. How can you receive anything? You see this? How can I receive something if my hands is holding on to the past, is holding on to my current situation that I'm not happy in, right? Because if you really are honest with yourself, are you happy in that current? No, you're probably not. Even if you're sitting here praying, if you're praying for the next, that means that there's something about this present that you're not satisfied with, that you're not happy with, but you're still holding on to it. And so for some of us, we hold on to it tight. It's like, no, I can't let this go because I need to see what God is going to give me. This is where faith is going to be activated. You have to have faith that this ending is going to be the door to the next big thing that's going to come into your life. And I don't know what it is that you are focusing on. I don't know what it is that you're praying for, but I'm here to tell you, if you don't let go, that new blessing, that big blessing is not going to come because there's no place for it to fit. So what are you going to do? Are you going to trust him? Are you going to truly trust him and say, okay, God, you know what? I'm going to make room for what you're about to bring into my life. And it might even be for some people, it might be a season where there's nothing going on. And that also could be a part of it. And I think last week we spoke about that. 2 weeks ago, we spoke about the heart, right? The heart in that waiting season. What does that waiting season look like? Are you complaining? Are you frustrated? Or are you still sitting here thinking about the last? That's another part. Are you still sitting around thinking about the last? So I want you to put that into perspective, because I could tell you so many times when I was going through all that I was going through. I mean, God had me to release a relationship. Someone actually prophesied to me and told me, God can't, He's not going to bless you until you clean up that mess. I was in a situation, in a relationship, living with someone, because someone was living with me, and they was like, he's not going to do what he's not going to give you that blessing with that person being there, because that's not what he desires. And I kept hearing it, and I kept hearing it. I mean, literally, I heard this about three times in like the span of 3 months. And then I heard it for myself. And I was just like, and then once I let that go, once I closed that chapter, it was like instantly, I think within 30 days, hey Paula, happy Friday. Within like 30 days, I got that blessing. Right? The first blessing came as a job. The second blessing came as someone loaning me $5,000 that I needed. But those blessings could not arrive until I did what God told me to do, which was release something. And in that case, it was releasing a relationship. And no, it's not going to make sense to a lot of people. Well, Tanisha, why do I have to give up my relationship or my friendship or my home in order for me to get the next blessing? I can't tell you why. All I can say here and tell you is that when you do it, it's such a great reward. It's such an amazing feeling when you have so much faith and you trust God and you're just like, all right, Lord, I'm just going to surrender it all to you. And I'm just going to trust that you're going to give me something back tenfold, 100-fold. And it's going to be greater and it's going to be better than the first one. When people are out here praying for things, this is why, I remember meeting this young lady about 5 years ago, and she was telling a story about how she had wanted a new car, and she kept praying for this new car, and she was just praying, praying, praying. And then one day she came outside, and someone had hit her car, like smack dab. Thankfully, she was not in the car. It was just happening like while she was inside the building, and someone crashed her car, and it was totaled. And guess what she ended up getting? A brand new car. And one thing that she said, you know what? She said, this was my fault, because God had been telling me after I had prayed for the new car, God told me to get rid of this car. She said, and I couldn't have the faith. I didn't see the vision. I didn't see the provision. I didn't see the vision. I didn't see nothing. All I did was just kept on holding on. Well, God, I know God's going to bring that new car for me. I know God's going to bless me with a new car. She just kept believing it, but she didn't know how. And then when she got the instructions, get rid of this car, she didn't want to obey. And then he just took the car away. Sometimes that is exactly what he's going to do. And she was able to get a brand new car. I forgot how she got the brand new car. She didn't have to put nothing down, no car note, because that was also her prayer. She wanted a brand new car without a car note. And that happened to me. I just thought about that. That happened to me, but I had a car note for about 3 months. I had wanted a new car. I had loved my Durango, but she was having an issue that even the dealership couldn't fix. And I kept on like, God, I need a new car. I want a new car. I said, but I didn't have a car note for like 7, 8 years. And I was like, God, I don't want no car note. Like, I just need to get a new vehicle, but I don't want a car note. They stole my truck. They totaled my truck. My truck, the insurance company gave me a payout, and I was able to buy a new car. I had a car note. And once I had the car note, now I had to go into another prayer with God. And I was like, all right, Lord, I don't want this car note. So I'm going to trust and believe that you're going to pay this car off. And literally, he gave me another contract. And that contract paid off my car in 3 months. But he also had to take that car because it was like, okay, you want this new, but yet you're not willing to let go. So sometimes he's going to let go for you. And so that ending, I had such a peace. When I say that was one of the most peaceful, engaged situations that I've ever had, that I didn't stress out, I didn't cry, I wasn't angry, I wasn't mad, I wasn't doing any of those things. And I felt good about that because I knew God was in the mix. I knew that this ending was not something that was trying to harm me or devastate me or put me behind, that I was going to get ahead. And because I held on to that faith, it actually happened. So sometimes you have to realize that you're not doing your part. He's probably giving you an answer and you just don't like that answer. So we got to get out of our own way, and we got to get to a place where we start realizing, is it his way or is it going to be my way? And I like to believe that we all should want his way. Because if we've been doing things our way for so long and it hasn't been working, why not take a chance and see if we do it his way and see how that works out for us? I'm just saying. The last thing that I want us to think about is that, and this goes into what I just said, sometimes we get angry, we're bitter. We choose to do that. It's a choice. And so when we get into the act of gratitude, that means that that's also a choice that we're making. And so sometimes how you leave the situation is going to determine how you're going to enter the next one. How you leave the situation previously is going to determine how you're going to enter the next one. So if you're going to exit with grace, with some peace, and you're not holding the grudges, that is going to allow God to really just move. And so that next blessing that's going to come is going to be a big blessing. That ending that just happened, we need to learn how to practice. What does that feel like? You know, when I think about for my last relationships, the best part of the healing that I did was to let go of every grudge that I had against every ex-boyfriend that I had. Everyone. I had one ex that for many of years, I think I finally forgave him for me. Never had this conversation. I finally forgave him probably about what year we in, 2025, 2017, 2018 was the last time that I ever felt a grudge about him. And while I don't have the relationship that I want, I know that I'm going into this next season. Whenever that person does show up, I'm not holding on to the grudges. I'm not bringing that energy, because when you bring that into the new, it's not going to it's not going to feel the way that you want it to feel, and it's not going to produce the fruit that you need it to produce, because you're still carrying all of this negative. You know, when I see and I hear people talk about, you know, the new that they have, but they're still dwelling on the past, and they're still angry about the past, or they're still frustrated about the past, and they're still talking about the past, and not talking about it in a way of testifying of how amazing it was, or testifying of, you know, how God got them through. They're still talking about it in such a negative way. And it's like, and I often wonder, like, do you not see the blessing that you have in front of you? Do you not see the amazing greatness that's there right now for you, with you? But I think so many people just don't see that, because we're first of all, we're very conditioned as a society that negativity, if you are negative, if you are bitter, you are angry, frustrated all of the time, that is the norm. So when people are out here telling you, no, practice more gratitude, have more grace with yourself, you know, have this peace, have this calm, and know that God is going to carry you through, or that the situations is going to get better. We have this battle. This is why I say I'm going to continue to show up and inspire people as much as I can, because I know that we are drowning in negative. We're drowning in people telling you, oh, that ending happened. Oh my gosh. And now all they want to do is talk about why that ending happened, instead of talking and inspiring you to go forth and be excited about the next. So I don't know, like if you have this, if whatever it is, again, I pray that whatever it is that you are praying for your next, I pray that you release that old. I pray that you allow yourself to receive that new and to see it as a blessing. You know, when I moved to Oklahoma, I was experiencing some other people who were also in a season of transition. And some of those people could not admire what was about to come into their life, because they were still dwelling on everything that they had previously. They were still wanting that. Even though that season had, the chapter was closed, the season was over, and it was like, here is a brand new day for you to embrace and to embark on this new chapter. And they just couldn't see that. And the more that I tried to encourage them, I just had to just tell them, like, look, I got to leave it up to God and just pray for you. But I pray that you get the new. And I pray that you embrace that new, because it doesn't serve us to sit on that fence and keep thinking and feeling the way that we're feeling about the past, instead of us going forth and looking and being excited about that new. So I want you to look at those three things. So I'm just going to do a quick recap. Sorry, I'm over here. Got my notes on my iPad. So first thing is that all of your endings are not a failure. Some of them are fulfillments. You fulfilled your duties. You did a good job. Whether you got a C, a A, a B, you did a good job. The assignment has been completed. God is trying to make that room for the next. He's trying to get you to see that he needs space, because that blessing is going to be a big blessing, right? That's how we're going to look at it. The blessing is about to be a big blessing. So he needs space so he can do his big one. And then the third thing is that we're not going to choose to be bitter about our past. We're not going to choose to be upset about what has ended or what's about to come to an end. But we're about to be so excited and have gratitude for everything that is about to come, and even the things that we have, just experienced. I think that's a part of gratitude that so many people also fail to realize. Be grateful for what you have experienced. Be grateful for everything that you've gone through. I tell everyone, although I never want to experience a financial devastation the way that I did in 2016, I don't want to experience being that broke again. I don't. I don't want to experience looking at my checking account and have a negative $500. I don't ever want to see that again. But I am grateful because it strengthened my relationship with God. Like, that's when I had to hear him, because I had nothing. And when I tell people that, he restored everything. And so when I got to that place in 2018, when everything was getting back right, I wasn't just excited for what was about to come. I was excited for that valley season too. I was excited for those dark moments too, because it strengthened me. It gave me this level of relationship that I needed with God. And I think so many of us, that might be what he might be putting you through. It's to get to that place, that place where you can say, God, I just need you. I trust you. I'm gonna just listen. I'm gonna follow you. What did Paul say? The assignment has been complete. It is a lesson. All of that was a lesson. And the one thing that I tell all of my students, now that you have received this lesson, how are you going to apply it moving forward? We all have to look at, that's what school is about, right? We learn a topic, they go through the whole lesson plan, and then there's some form of application. And our future is the application. And so many times people, they don't realize that. So that's why they sit and they keep harboring over the lesson, especially if it was a bad one, especially if it didn't end the way that they wanted. And that's also another thing. This is the bonus one. You got to remove your expectations. You know how many people are out here bitter and frustrated in their season of single because they had these expectations on the person that they thought was going to be their husband, although God never told them that's going to be your husband or wife? If you're not consulting him and you're putting all of your expectations, this is going to be my person, we're going to be together, we're going to have 5 children, that is your expectations. And God is just like, no, because I got someone better for you. So I need you to let that go, let this season go. But I'm telling y'all, the more that we hold on to it, you can't receive anything new. You can't receive the better. So this is the reason why we see, I hate to watch those court shows, but like paternity tests, what's the other one? Divorce court. And you'll hear, and these be young people. I mean, I'm young, but these people be like in their 20s, like 28, talking about, I don't want to start over. Girl, you're 28. I'm 40 and I'm still like, I'm ready to start over. Like, let's go. Because I don't want to stay in this. I want what God has for me. I want the better. And a lot of times, I don't know why we go in this direction, but a lot of times, especially in relationships, God never said for you to even be with that person for the lesson or the blessing. See, sometimes, I talk about this in Dear Single in Love, where every person that you meet is not going to be your person. Some people are going to be a lesson, some people are going to be a blessing. I do believe that a lot of individuals are missing out on many blessings because they won't even engage, right? So I've heard people say, oh, well, I don't want to, I'm not even dating. I'm not talking to anyone because if God doesn't say that he's my husband, but that person could be the door for the business contract. They could be the door for the job that you've been praying for. They could be they could be the door for a new something, new house, new cars. Like when you have a new level of faith, you start understanding that sometimes God is going to place some people into your life to give you exactly what it is that you've been praying for. That is how he uses us. So when we shut out and we start making making these decisions, oh, well, he's not my husband. Okay, but why is it that automatically that's the first thing that you have or the first mindset that you have? Because if you're praying about something, everyone is praying about something right now. If you're praying for something right now, put a 1 in the chat. Anything. I'm gonna put a 1 in the chat. If you are praying for something, I don't care what it is, big, small, put a 1 in the chat. Right? Sometimes those prayers are going to come from strangers. Strangers. So if you're shutting out your opportunity from meeting strangers, how can you get the prayers prayed? The prayers answered. That's how I want people, like, you can't expect that when you go outside, oh, hey, Kendra, good morning. You can't expect that, it's just going to be God going to reach his hand down from the sky and he's going to do the prayer. He's going to use his children to bless you. So if you're like Drake, remember Drake used to have that song No New Friends? That was the curse of the enemy. Because the new friends, the new connections can be the blessing that you're praying for. So if you have that mindset that I don't want anyone until it's my person, but you're praying for something, that means that you're eliminating God, the ability to use that person to bless you. So we have to change our perspective about new connections. One, maybe we talk about this more in depth next week. But one, it could just be simply someone out here wants to bless you. You might be their blessing, right? It could be it's a two-way street. So it's not just about us. God has placed people in my life, in my season of dry, in my season of the wilderness, and I was a blessing to them. Why? Because blessings is not monetary, right? God doesn't have to use you only when your things are going right in your life. And I had to learn that. I used to think like, oh, well, God, I can't be used right now. I have no money in my account. But God would put somebody on my heart to go pray for them, to send them a word of inspiration. And, just simply helping an elderly person cross the street, that could be a blessing. So we have to also shift our mindset about that. So I really want, right? But some folks need to hear their story, even as a stranger. Sometimes I'm that person. Yep, absolutely. This is why I love social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. If you guys don't know, I love social media because I do encourage people to go out there and to share their story because someone out there needs to hear that, right? And just hearing that is a blessing. Just hearing someone's testimony. And that's what I always encourage, whether it's writing, people do it in so many different ways. You just got to find your lane in the way that you're going to do it. But someone needs to hear that. Someone needs to experience in the capacity of just knowing that, okay, I'm not the only person going through this. And two, Thank you, God, for sending me someone to remind me that you hear me. If we keep focusing on that relationship, he constantly gives us. And I mean, and this is why I say, when people say, I know algorithms work, but the scariest thing that I've ever experienced is sitting quiet with God. I didn't speak it, so that means that Siri, Alexa, none of them heard it. And God sends a message through social media somewhere. That's exactly what I needed to hear. Whether it's confirmation, it's instructions on what I just prayed for. Because he can do what? He can do all things. All. So I don't give Mark. I don't give Elon and all of them, all of these social media uh, owners. I don't give them credit. I give God credit because he knows what I need. And he's going to do what he does in the spiritual realm to make sure that something that I need to come across is going to come across my feed. And that's what I encourage people to do. And I understand that when we look at topics such as this, so I do encourage you, share this message because I understand endings suck. Endings suck. They do. Like reality. But they also have such a blessing as you're shifting and unlearning the narratives. When you shift the narratives and you start to just have this, just a little bit more faith, you start to see, okay, there's a good thing that's happening with this door being closed, right? They are endings, Paula, you're right. Endings are new beginnings. And so many people just don't want to believe that. And I get it. We like security, right? Security is, oh, I know that this is going to be here. I know how to use it. I know how to navigate it. I know how to talk to it. I know how to do all of those things. I don't have to reintroduce. I don't have to reposition myself. I don't have to get familiar with something new. But when I say to you, the next thing that's coming is going to be so much better. It's going to make you feel better. And sometimes the better might not be is that it's bigger in the physical, but the impact is going to be greater. So when I hear people say, oh, well, they might have lost like a big house, right? A big house that they didn't even really want. They haven't spent any time in one of them rooms, and they lose that house and they're devastated. And I understand. I can totally, that's one of the scariest feelings on earth. And then when you hear their story later on, and now they're in the smaller house, and now they're able to appreciate every inch of that house, and they're like, wow, I didn't need all that other space, and this is better for me. And then they get the aha moment. So me losing that wasn't the end of the world. Me losing that doesn't mean that I was only going to get something grander and bigger, but I got something smaller and it gives me more fulfillment. I feel full here. I'm excited here. And that could be because of the environment that you're in, the season, the location. It could be so many different things. And I just truly think because God shifts something in your heart to see the blessing and to be grateful. And like I said before, sometimes you also have to be grateful for what you have gone through. All right, I've been on here for 34 minutes, Lord. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes I just be talking. God just be speaking. So I pray that this message truly gives you some truly, truly insight, because I'm telling you, what Paula's, oh wait, I stay winning because I respect. Oh, can somebody, Paula, do you follow me on Instagram? Because I want to give you credit for that one. I stay winning because I respect my losses. Paula just dropped a whole bar on us. She just dropped, I gotta put that back up. Paula, you just dropped a whole bar on us. I stay winning because I respect my losses. And if more people had that mindset, if we had that mindset, that would be such an amazing thing. Right? And it took me, and this is gonna be my last thought. She said, I'm hardly on. Well, I was just putting Paula pics as when I do my quote card today. You're gonna be my quote card today. Um, and relates to what Paula just said. I respect my I stay winning because I respect my losses. And I'll talk about that next week because I'm not trying to get the 40 minutes on here today. But I'll talk about that. We're going to definitely pin it. So, Paula, you are going to be my quote card for today, and I'm going to make sure that you get the credit. And I just want us to remember. She said, I give you credit for helping me remember that. We're going to put each other. You're going to put Tanisha, you're going to put Miss Inspiration, you're going to put Paula Picks. Okay? So, like I said, I don't want us. Oh yes, Paula, Kendra, Paula. I don't know if y'all met in the community. Y'all part of Inspirational Trailblazers. So good morning to both of you. Please check last message that I posted. I think Sunday. I can put that little disclaimer out there for y'all. I posted something on Sunday. You still need to schedule your one-on-one sessions with me. But yeah, like I want us to truly just, get to that space. I just want people to have such a peace. And I'm going to talk about this more maybe next week, Thursday. Not the train. I did a group discussion and we spoke about the endings part. Girl, I'm behind. So look, I'm behind, and trust me, we all gonna catch up together. And yeah, I had to really just understand, as far as like dating and perspectives of how those relationships ended and helping people to see that. So that might be next week's Throwback Thursday message because I think that is going to help so many people to have that understanding of why did this happen, or how do you shift your mindset about endings happening in relationships and moving forward with hope and love and excitement for what's about to come with that next person, right? And we can look at this, we could break this down in every aspect: jobs, career, business, relationships, friendships. There's so many forms of endings that so many people just can't take the principle. See, I'm a principles kind of person, and and that's what God is. The Bible is full of principles. And what a lot of people, they don't have an understanding of how to take that principle and apply it to every aspect of their life. So that's what a lot of my teachings are, is to help you to take that principle and say, okay, how do I take this basic principle and apply it to every aspect of my life? Because it can apply to every aspect. Faith is a principle. How do you have faith in this, and this, and this, right? And so I've learned in the last couple of years of me doing this, as much as I can focus on the principles, I still have to break it down as small as possible so that people can see, just to help them to get to that destination of saying, okay, now I know how to apply principles. That's where wisdom comes from. Okay. And I'm still getting closer to 40. Y'all have an amazing day today. I done ended this like 4 times already. But if you're not connected with me, for those of you that are watching on the replay, please make sure that you connect with me. You can learn about my community, Inspirational Trailblazers. You have 2 of my trailblazers right here with me live. Currently, you are able to join. Get the first 7 days free. Get a free 7-day trial, and then it's $20 a month. You can also learn about my books, Dear Single and Love, the different courses, and my blog. I just updated the blog this week, so new blog posts. Go ahead and check it out. But I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration. I will see you back here on Monday at 7 a.m. Central Time, 8 a.m. Eastern. And I just hope you just go out here and just have a great weekend wherever you are in the world. Keep doing amazing things and share this message, because I'm guaranteeing you someone out there needs an understanding and more clarity about why things are going bad and how they can embrace, or things that they can remember while those seasons are coming to a close. So Paula, I thank you. Kendra, I thank you. And everyone else, have an amazing day. And I thank you as well. God loves you. I love you. Have a great day on purpose, with purpose.